Okay, now we're going to create the menu so that we can access other pages. I'm going to create a couple new files that we're going to link to. The first one is going to be aboutme.html. The second one is going to be about the high school, so we're going to call that wvhs.html. So these are empty web pages that we're going to create a menu and link to. So we're going to create our menu in the left side. That's right here in the left panel. This was created to put the menu in there. We're going to use a structure called an unordered list to create our menus. So that tag is a UL. Inside the UL are list items, so every link will have its own list item. And the tag to create a link is called the egg tag or the anchor tag. And it has an attribute called href that will link to the file. We have to have an equal sign, an open quote, and then the file name. So we've got about me. Oh, no. We always want to create, the first one is the home page, which will link to the index.html. This is the file we're actually in, but we always create it, even though we're in that file, we create a link to it because we're going to copy and paste this menu to all of the other files. And that's all we need for that. And we're just going to call that home. Everything between the opening and closing a tag is the link itself. So it's clickable. And then we got to close our li to get ready for the next one. I'm also going to put a comment in here because we are going to be linking this. The comment in HTML is a less than sign, and print or a exclamation point, 2 dashes. Notice everything turned gray because it is commenting it out or being ignored by the computer. And we're just going to call this the main menu. And then to close that tag, it's 2 dashes and a greater than sign. And you notice that all the colors came back. So that is what we call a comment. It's ignored by the computer, but it's information for us. So I'm going to have another li with an href equals open quote, and we're going to do the about me. And notice I made everything lowercase because the case does matter. Greater than sign. This is the text you'll see on the screen. /a to close the anchor tag. /li to close the link or the list item. And we're going to have one more. And this time it's going to be the href. And it's the West Valley High School page that we're going to create. And we're just going to do WVHS there. Close the A tag and close the list item. Let's go ahead and run that and take a look at our content. Now you can see they're there. Reload that. So we got, but they link to blank pages right now. We haven't put anything in there. So let's go fix, we can't even see our text, so let's go fix that first. So we're going to go to our style sheet. We're going to add another CSS rule. And we want this rule to affect all of the ULs that are class menu, that's what the dot does, and that have LIs, or list items. Open and close parenthesis. So first of all, let's make the color white for now, which we'll probably come back and change that later. Now if we go back to our index and run it, Well, these are still links, so we need to get rid of some of the other properties, because by default links always have a certain color, and we're going to be getting rid of those colors. So lecture, we need to do that first. So let's, if it's an, we got to affect the anchor tags, and we want to, each link has a different state. So we have our link state. And inside of that, we're going to have color. And let's go ahead and make it white for now. And then we want to get rid of the actual decorations on the and we want to make it none. That'll just clean up. Unordered lists have a bunch of bullet points and things like that, and this will get rid of that. All of this, the link states are similar, so I'm going to Control C and copy that. No use retyping. So V, Control V, Control V. We need visited, we need link, visited, hover, active, and active. So that's 1, 2, 3. We need one more. Okay, so we're going to change the link. That's our first one. We'll leave that one. Next one is visited. So what happens when you actually click on it and visit the link? What happens when you hover over it? And what happens when it's actually active as you click on it? Now if we go look at our website, we should be able to see our links. We got our home page, we got About Me, which is blank, and we got WVHS, which is also blank. So now we're going to go back and populate those other files. So we're going to go back to our index, and this is a good starting point. We have basically all the pieces we need in here to get started. So I'm going to copy that entire document by clicking and dragging. So it's all blue. Do a Control C for copy. Go to About Me, Control V for paste. Go to the WVHS file, do a Control V paste. And now we want to make sure that we know which is which. So where it says content, I'm going to change this as our home page. So I'm going to change that to home page. I'm going to go to the About Me page, come down to the content, replace that with About Me, because these are separate files. I click on the WVHS, find the content, and put in West Valley High School. Now when we run that, it always runs the index first. And now you can see it says homepage on the index, which is right there. Then we click on About Me. You can see that in the address it changed to About Me, and the content changed to About Me. And then we click on WVHS, and it links to that page. Now they all look very similar, but they are actually different pages. So as we work through those will be our menu. Okay, our menu doesn't look the way that we want it to right now. So we got to go back to our style sheet, and we want to make it those list items actually look like buttons. Okay. So we're going to leave that color white for now, but we may want to change it. So the ul.menu.li is going to affect all of the ones that have li as inside of a menu with a class, or inside of a UL with a class of menu. So the first thing we want to do is give it a background color. And actually we are going to make that white, and we're going to change the color to black. Okay. So what that should do, we will go run that now and refresh. Oh, we got to set a few more things before that'll work. We want to tell it how big we want our buttons to be. We're going to do 120 pixels for the width, and the height is going to be 30 pixels. The text style is going to be centered. Text, not text style, a text align. Make sure we do our semicolon. Our list style is going to be none. That'll just clean up the style. We have a margin top of 10 pixels. We have a border radius. This will give it rounded edges, 25 pixels. And our border right, I'm going to give it a 10 pixel border, and be solid and solid, and we're going to give that purple. Let's run that and see what we get. Okay, so now we need to tie that class menu to the UL that we created by adding a class. When we hover over it in CSS in Replit, it does give you what your UL in the HTML should look like. So let's go back there and add that in. We're going to do class equals open quote menu, close quote, inside the less than sign. Go back here and run this. And so now we get our looking buttons. Still got a little bit problems we got to fix. Let's go, border radius, I spelled that wrong, so let's do that. That's why they were square instead of rounded. Border, let the help, okay. Also, we've got black on white on these ones, but all of these other ones were white, so we need to change those to black, just so we can see them for now. We may come back and change them to a different color. Okay, let's go take a look at that. All right, we can now see the home, about me, and West Valley inside the buttons. It's not exactly where I wanted it to be. Oh, we don't use centered, we just use the word center. So make sure that that is correct. Reload. There we go. Now those are all centered. We could push them down a little bit more by giving it a little bit more padding on the top. So let's make that 20 pixels on the top for top margin. And that. And that just gives extra space between. That actually spaced our buttons too far apart, so I'm going to change that back to 10 pixels. What I really wanted to do was to push the words down. So actually that is padding, because padding is inside the buttons or inside the CSS object, where margin is outside. So we're going to make that 10 pixels. See what that looks like. If it's not enough, we will go back and fix it. Run that. There we go. That actually made the words inside the button and made the buttons a little bigger. Cool. Now, the only other issue we have is that the About Me and the West Valley don't have that because we forgot to add that to those other pages. So anytime you make changes to the menu, you're going to have to go back and change on each page. Usually what happens is I get it working correctly, such as it is on this page, and I'm going to copy and paste. Where's my closing UL? Did I erase that by mistake? Make sure it has the closing UL. I think I erased it. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to copy from the open UL with the class of menu, all the list items, Control C, come over here, Control V, or highlight it, Control V, back to my indenting, come over to the West Valley page, do the same thing. And yes, I had forgotten to close it when I copied it, so now I'm going to fix that problem. Control V. Again, make sure your indenting is correct. Now when we go run that, all of our pages should pick up the home page, the About Me page, okay, and the West Valley page. Okay, let's give our menu a little bit more pizzazz. So right now it's not much happens. We want to, when our mouse hovers over it, we want to make a change, or we want it to change a little bit. And we do that in our CSS when we hover. So there is a hover already. So first of all, let's not do white on black. Let's do red on black. So we're going to change all of our colors to red. Now you can play with different colors to make your menus your own, but this is just what I'm going to use for now. So those are all now red. Let's go and see what that change looks like. So now all of our words are red on white, which is okay. Now, the hover is the one that we want to affect. So we want to change that to a different color. When we hover over it. Actually, we're going to leave the color, the text color. Color is for text only. We're going to leave that red. We're just going to change the background. And actually, we have to do that with a little bit different rule. So we have our ul.menu that we did before, but now we're going to, since the whole button is an li, we're going to do an li, and we're going to, when that we hover over that, it's going to make change, and the change we want is to change the color to, we're just going to leave it as red, so we don't have to change color. Let's just change the background color. And we're going to change it from white to black. Let's just see what that looks like. Not bad. Incorporate this into your portfolio. The next video, we'll talk about how to add a picture to the header and to change some of the content and add pictures to the rest of the document.